They figured they could terrorize my family. Sending 3 bikers to my property, that would be enough to crush my spirit, they thought. What they failed to understand was exactly who they were dealing with, or that they'd chosen the wrong man's wife to threaten. Before jumping into this, leave a comment with your country. I want to see just how far this tale reaches across the globe. Tuesday afternoon it was, golden light cascading across Oakage Meadows, when I rolled into my driveway and felt my blood freeze. There was my wife Sarah, pressed back against the chicken coop, her tone controlled but her stance revealing tension. 3 bikers had her trapped, patches covering their leather vests, motors rumbling behind them like hungry predators. The closest one had leaned in too far, flashing a smile of rotted teeth. I shut off the truck and climbed down, every sinew in my body recalling the feel of military equipment I'd abandoned years ago. Gravel crunched under my boots, and their leader whirled to face me. "Got business here," he growled. Like those words justified his presence on my land, terrorizing my wife. Sarah's gaze found mine. No fear there, though I caught a flash of relief crossing her features. She didn't rattle easily, but 1 against 3 was hardly fair odds. 30 seconds to start explaining, I said, keeping my voice quiet and controlled. The same tone that used to silence green recruits when I was breaking them in. The biker's grin widened. "President Loretta's done with you ignoring her messages. Call this motivation." I almost chuckled out loud. Loretta, the self-proclaimed empress of our HOA, had been hungry for this confrontation since the day I challenged her insane regulations. She'd slapped us with penalties for a chicken coop she had no authority over, made threats about firewood stacks completely outside her domain. Now she'd hired muscle to frighten my wife. Her error was believing intimidation tactics would have any effect on me. 3 minutes, I said with complete calm, and you'll be wishing you'd left when you still could. The leader sneered, reading my self-control as weakness. He flexed his fingers and stepped closer to Sarah. That sealed his doom. If you're hooked on this HOA drama so far, smash that like button and subscribe. The story's about to get a whole lot more intense. Everything changed the moment that biker moved towards Sarah. My body reacted before my mind processed what was happening. Decades of military training came flooding back like it was only yesterday. I caught his wrist as he reached out, gave it a sharp twist, and slammed him into the gravel so hard that dust exploded around us. His partners stood frozen, struggling to comprehend watching their leader get destroyed by someone still gripping a coffee mug in his other hand. "Who's up next?" I asked calmly. The second guy threw a wild haymaker that looked like something from amateur television. I slipped beneath his swing, caught his arm, and used his own momentum to send him crashing into the chicken coop fence. The birds erupted in frantic squawking as feathers scattered everywhere. Sarah actually grinned at that display. The final biker wavered, revving his engine like maybe the noise would accomplish what violence had failed to achieve. I walked straight up to him, grabbed his handlebars and jerked hard. The motorcycle crashed sideways, trapping his leg beneath metal and chrome. He screamed, flailing helplessly as I crouched beside him. "Give your employer this message," I said softly. "Next time she needs to communicate, she should try the mail service. Because if she sends men to threaten my wife again, they won't make it home in one piece." By now the other 2 were scrambling, moaning and nursing their injuries, begging me to back off. One actually stuttered. "Nobody warned us it would be like this, man. We figured this was just supposed to scare somebody." I allowed them to retreat, their engines coughing, as they tried to salvage whatever dignity they had left. Sarah moved beside me, brushing dust from her jeans. 3 minutes exactly, she noted, checking her watch. News traveled quickly. That very evening, HOA President Loretta appeared at my door, her face crimson, pearl necklace bouncing as she screamed about assault charges and property destruction. But her beaten hired help wasn't eager to file complaints. They were too humiliated, and my security cameras had recorded every second. I played back the footage for Loretta, watching color drain from her face as she realized how spectacularly her plan had backfired. Instead of me cowering, she now faced 3 furious bikers questioning their deal with her, plus video evidence connecting her HOA position to attempted intimidation. And I wasn't finished yet. By the following HOA meeting, the gossip network was running wild. Residents whispered about bikers limping away from our street, about footage I supposedly possessed, and about Loretta's part in the whole affair. I didn't contradict any of it. Actually, I brought my computer, connected it to the projector, and hit play. The room fell completely silent. There it was in high definition. 3 bikers arriving, 1 putting hands on my wife, and me taking them all down in less than 3 minutes. Coffee mug never leaving my grip the entire time. Nervous laughter erupted when the last guy begged for mercy, his voice breaking through the speakers. The best part? I'd included audio of one biker blurting out, "The HOA president hired us." Loretta shot from her chair, shrieking, "That's completely out of context." But the context was crystal clear. Half the room was already filming the screen with their phones by then. A neighbor rose and quoted directly from federal law, 18 U.S.C. 875, criminal coercion and intimidation, plus our county's harassment statutes. Loretta had transformed the HOA into her personal enforcement squad, and everyone saw the proof. The bikers themselves made a deal. 2 appeared at the sheriff's department the next day, battered and humble, testifying against Loretta for reduced charges. They provided text messages, payment records, even a handwritten note on HOA letterhead promising compensation for their intimidation services. Within the week, Loretta faced charges: conspiracy, harassment, misappropriation of HOA funds, the complete package. She sobbed about community safety as officers escorted her from her house in handcuffs. Sarah and I watched from our porch, me holding my usual coffee. As patrol cars drove by, neighbors waved, some applauded, and one called out, "Maybe try certified mail next time." The HOA removed her unanimously, implementing immediate changes that same evening. Financial transparency, budget accountability, and absolute prohibition of any enforcement outside legal boundaries. The perfect ending? Those same bikers who'd come to intimidate us returned weeks later, not wearing leather, but in work clothes, asking about neighborhood repair jobs as part of their community service. Respectful, quiet, and significantly less aggressive. I simply smiled and said, "Just don't threaten my wife again, and we'll get along perfectly." Sometimes HOA presidents believe they control the entire community. Loretta thought she commanded her own private army. She discovered too late, some people strike back harder than she ever dreamed possible.